In this video, we will be discussing different forms of instrumentation and laboratory practices, including HPLC, nitrogen evaporation, acid digestion, and flame AA. We will also be discussing teamwork and its importance with regards to lab work.
The HPLC, also known as High Performance or High Pressure Liquid Chromatography, is an instrument that is used to identify, separate, and quantify components in a mixture. A sample is injected into an injection port and mixed with mobile phase and carried into the HPLC column at a certain flow rate. In the column, there are little beads, and the sample separates out based on affinity for the beads. The stronger the affinity, the longer it takes to separate out, meaning the sample has an affinity for the stationary phase. Once the sample has moved through the column, it reaches a detector, which is set to a certain wavelength, where the data is then transferred to the peak integrator. The peak integrator forms a chromatograph of the sample. The sample is then discarded in a waste container.
A nitrogen evaporator is an instrument used to dry and concentrate a sample for analysis. It blows nitrogen down into a sample that is typically in a warm water bath in order to remove evaporated solvent. The jet of gas continually forces off the layer of air right above the samples that is saturated with solvent vapor, allowing more vapor to form while continuously forcing it away from the sample. Nitrogen evaporators perform better for small volume samples because large volume samples take a longer time to evaporate fully.
Digestion is used as a sample pre-treatment, and it consists of using acids and heat to reduce the amount of trace metals found in the sample by breaking the organic metallic bonds and free ions before the analysis of the sample.
Flame atomic absorption spectroscopy is a useful quantitative chemical method for determining unknown concentrations of many elements such as iron. A flame AA instrument consists of 6 distinct parts: a hollow cathode tube, an atomizer, a nebulizer, a diffraction grating, a monochromator, and a photomultiplier. The hollow cathode tube emits a specific band of wavelengths that match a specific element. The nebulizer takes a sample of interest and turns it into a fine mist. This mist mixes with air and acetylene gas and is aspirated in the flame. The flame works as an atomizer. It evaporates the solvent and vaporizes any salts that have formed as a result of solvent evaporation. The element of interest will then absorb the specific wavelengths emitted by the hollowed cathode tube. The remaining light will go to the diffraction grating, where wavelengths will be diffracted so that the wavelength of interest can be isolated. The wavelength of interest will then pass through the monochromator, while the others will not. This wavelength will pass into a photomultiplier, where the light signal will be turned into an electrical signal. The instrument will read the electrical signal. The ratio between P over P naught, or wavelengths leaving the flame, over wavelengths entering the flame, can be used to determine absorbance. Working as a team can be rewarding and challenging depending on the work ethic and attitudes of team members. One very important quality to have is flexibility. If team members are not working as diligently on a project as is necessary to complete it, there must be a change of attitude. Rather than being a follower, you must now be a leader and provide structure to a group that doesn't have any. Above all, you have to be sure to lead in a respectful and empathetic manner. While being a leader gives authority, it should never be accommodated with pride, but rather humility. Being sure to complete these steps will ensure that a team will finish a task in a good time frame while keeping everyone content.
The pros of teamwork is that there's collaboration between the group members. There's also more eyes on the work looking for errors, and then you're able to divide up the work, allowing for less errors to occur and it to be done more efficiently. The cons to teamwork is that one person could be lazy and not do the work or pull their weight. One person could feel that they're doing all of the work or have a heavier workload from the group, and that the group, if they work well, can become very distracted, causing more time to be wasted on useless things than the project itself.